Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Hacking Self-Storage. So on Tuesday, what we do is we go through my weekly figures for Clough Rd, the very, very new site that we've got. As I'm trying to find the Clough Rd damn figures. There we go. So yeah, what I want to do is go through the Clough Rd figures and tell you exactly what's working, what's not. This week was very, very interesting because it was one of the highest. It was the highest, second highest. It was the highest week for quotes. However, it was the lowest reservations we've got. Is this a trend? Probably not. But it's very, very interesting that what we've got to do is when we see something we're not quite happy with, we've got to keep an eye on it because we don't want to. We want to be ahead of the trend. We want to be reactive, proactive rather than reactive. We don't want to be reactive. So we want to keep ahead of any potential trends, negative trends. So last week we had 35 quotes at Clough Rd. We had 6 reservations, and that was for 585 square foot. That's a conversion rate of 17.14%. Now, the reason why I don't think it's a worry is because it's such a small sample size. It's one goddamn week. Look at last week. We had 32 quotes and 10 reservations, and that was for a conversion rate of 31%. So if you put them both together, then it's pretty solid. So that's why I'm not worried at all. But my point there was, I do believe that you've just got to be aware of these factors. You've got to be aware of this information, this data, because without this information, without this data, then we really are battling blind with our business. So that's why we've got to keep an eye on these. If it was 2 weeks, I'd be okay. We've already had a reservation today. It's Monday morning. It is 11 o'clock. We've already had 1 reservation for Clough Rd already. But if it was for perhaps a month and we wasn't getting the reservations, then I'd be a little bit concerned. The reason I'm keeping my eye on it more and more now is because we've put up our prices. We put our prices up at Clough Rd. So we are more expensive now at Clough Rd than we are at Willoughby. We are more expensive at Clough Rd now than Armadillo is. And so in Clough Rd, we've got more competition around us than Willoughby. So why are we more expensive there? Well, two reasons. One, it's a state-of-the-art complex. It's better than any other self-storage in Hull, including our Willoughby depot, because it's got no key technology. It's a new building as well. And number 2 is it's supply and demand. We're 70% full, or near as damn it. We're 70% full, and it's tough. I know by the time we get our shop fit, our phase 2 shop fit, we're going to be running out of space. So even if the quotes, even if the reservations slow down and our conversion rate is lower and our moving slow down and our movings conversion is lower, I'm okay with that right now because we're going to be at a point where we're turning customers away. You never want to be at that point. So what you want to do is make sure you increase your prices before you get to that point. Because if you're turning people away, that customer you turned away might have paid £10, £20, £30 a week, even more than some of your current customers. That's why we've got to almost, our ideal customer, our avatar of a customer is changing depending on what percentage you are full. And so we've increased the prices. And that's why, my friends, I will be looking a lot closer at our occupancy and our conversion rates as well. Because if it changes, where the trajectory is slowing down to a worrying degree, then I can change things. That's a great thing with self-storage. We get so many hints as we go on every single week that we can change and adjust depending on the market, depending on what's happening out there. What other industry do you get real-time feedback? Well, probably loads, to be fair. But in self-storage, we do get real-time feedback and we can change things. The great thing is one decision that you have now isn't going to break anything. So we can test. And then we have the optimum running, not sample, but we have the optimum running procedures. And that's why I love this industry, because you get real-time feedback on what's working and what's not. So interestingly, it was only 17% conversion rate. We want to be over 25% ideally. That's where we want to be. However, I'm prepared to go a little bit lower than that at the minute because we are higher priced now. And as I said, we've got loads of competition around the area, but we're so far the most expensive, but we are the best facility. And we've only got very limited supply. We've only got 30% supply to go at for the next 10 weeks or so, whenever we get phase 2 completed. So that's why we've increased our prices, and that's why I'm keeping an eye on the reservations, conversion rates, etc. Okay, number of move-ins last week. Again, this was one of our worst. It was a par week. So we had 7 move-ins last week for 675 square foot. By the way, number of reservations last week, that was our lowest reservations that we've had since we've been collecting this data. For the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, lowest week of reservations for the last 6 weeks. But that is it just coincidence that it happens the same week that we increase prices, or Is it more than that? Is people thinking, oh, do you know what? I don't want to book because of a price. I think it's a coincidence, but we'll see. We'll keep checking these reports. Okay, so amount of move-ins was 7 for 675 square foot last week, and the conversion rate was 20%. So it's not too bad. It could be better, but anywhere between 20 and 25% is acceptable, especially when we've increased the prices. How many move-outs did we have? Well, this is where it gets lovely. We had 0 move-outs and 0 people give notice, although somebody has given notice this morning for a 75 square foot unit, but it is what it is. So nobody give notice for us last week, and no move-out. So that was wonderful. So it was 675 square foot up last week, which was awesome. Right, so where are we in... Oh, do you know what? I should have got these figures ready for us, shouldn't I? But I haven't got these figures ready for us. Right, where is Stora? Here we go. Let's log in. Oh, we are already logged in. Hey, we're logged in already. And now let's... here we go. Right, so at the minute, our recurring revenue is £14,019.13. That's if everybody was paying full price in terms of no hard price offers. So obviously they aren't. But it's nice to see, because 30 days ago, we was only at 7,000. The great thing with Story, it gives you a snapshot where it was 30 days ago. And so we was only at £7,090. That's what our recurring revenue model looked like 30 days ago. Now, it's more than, well, it's just nearly doubled. So it's £14,019.13. So that is just wonderful. The trajectory of that is crazy. I mean, can we double it in 30 days' time again? So it'd be 28,000. I can't imagine it. I can't see it whatsoever. And probably the occupancy won't let it anyway. But yeah, it's good to see. The rent per square foot is £13.62. Don't forget, we was in lease up stage, and this takes into consideration, I believe it takes, does it? Oh, God's sake, I always forget. Multiplied by 12. After discounts, yeah, so this is including discounts. So don't forget, we're doing 8 weeks half price, etc. So you'll see this figure increase all the time, £13.62. And you act differently depending on what your occupancy is. So our occupancy is approaching 69.97%, so 70%. So once you're at that level, and especially when your shop fit's not coming for a little bit, phase 2, then you have to start doing revenue management. You have to start looking at price per square foot. You have to start pushing that price per square foot up. At the minute, I'm okay with it. In lease up, I don't really care about. I don't even look at. I do look at the figure, but I don't take too much notice of that figure. I don't let it hold too much weight with me, just purely because I know that we're in lease up, and the idea with lease up is get the customers in, get the square footage in. Once you've got the square footage in, that's when we do our revenue management. That's when we increase our prices, etc. So once you've been in 6 months with us, we'll increase your prices by a minimum of 12%. So we'll get that going up. And don't forget that a lot of people, probably most of the people, I don't know, most of the people, a good size chunk of our customers have actually are on 50% at the minute, because we do 8 weeks half price. So that £13.62 will carry on increasing when people go off that half price offer and goes onto the normal offering, the normal price structure. So £13.62, that will increase to over £20 per square foot. I know it will. We're over £20 per square foot. Will it be? We're more expensive here, and we're going to be more aggressive as well, because it's limited supply here. It's not as big as Willoughby, so it's limited supply. So we'll be really goddamn aggressive with our price increases, with our prices, etc. We're going to be really aggressive, and I want to test it, see what it's like being just trying to push it a little bit, push the boundaries, because again, you don't know something if you don't test. And so I'm all about testing, and then if it doesn't work, we change it. And that's a great thing with storage, because you've got so many customers, so many reoccurring customers as well, that we can test it and it don't break your business model. What other figures can I tell you? So it's 69.97% occupied. 30 days ago, we was just 38.74% occupied. That is incredible. Again, nearly doubled it. So a fantastic increase there. 38.74 just 30 days ago, and we've increased, like 30% in 30 days. That is wonderful. Have I got any other data here? We've had no bad debtors either, because we pay by cards. Everyone gives us card details. So if someone doesn't pay on that time, then the great thing is you can just keep taking money until that card has money, and then bosh, you get the paid. So you don't really have any bad debtors. I'm trying to find some more data for you. I'll tell you what I can tell you, where our customers came from. Here we go. So our customers, where our quotes came from, 22 of our quotes came from Google. That's 55%. and by the way, we had, how many quotes did we have? Was it 30? 35. We had 35 quotes last week at Clough Rd. So 22 came from Google, and 7 came from passing by. So that's 17.5%. 2 came from social media. That's 5%. I think we've done actually all right from our quotes from social media, but they're very lukewarm audience, cold, if you like, and we never really, our conversion rate of them is very small. Used before was 1. Must have used Willoughby before, so that's 2.5%, and word of mouth was 5, which is 12.5%. I love the fact that word of mouth is increasing, so that's interesting. And I've already given you the revenue figures, actual revenue for Clough Rd from in yesterday's podcast. Okay, don't forget to tune in tomorrow, when tomorrow we're going to be talking showing prices or not. That massive, great debate. I love it. And I've got some, obviously, I've come in with loaded guns. I'm prepared for this. All right, my friends. Love you. Appreciate you. See you soon.